Maternal instincts are not automatic. It's not that the first time you see your baby being delivered, you'll be like, oh,
It's the cutest thing I've ever
yeah,
seen.
you're gonna look at him like, why are you looking like an alien?
Who this?
It's the politics of motherhood.
Welcome to the Politics of Motherhood. I'm Lynette.
And I'm Ashuka.
What are we talking about this week?
Nannies.
Oh, yes, our best
Support
friends.
system on payroll.
Yes, our community.
Yeah. Wow.
How many nannies have you had?
Okay, so I had a nanny when my kid came. The
Okay,
first
let's
one
start with.
Came.
How many years have you been a mother for?
Okay, 2 years.
Okay.
So in a span of 2 years, I've had maybe 5 nannies. Yeah, 5. 5. I think so.
And
you?
Well, I've been a mother for 5 years and I've had 4 nannies. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah.
you're lucky.
I think so. I've only fired 1
Yeah.
of the 4. So so at any given time I've had 2 nannies. The first set of 2, I fired the first one. The second set of 2, so 1 remained from there. That one left. And now so I've been consistent with 1 nanny for 4 years. But then, so I'm in now the 3rd set.
Okay.
But 1 has been consistent. So the nanny has been consistent. It's the housekeepers actually who've left.
Okay.
So I'm on my 3rd housekeeper and 1st nanny.
All right. So then that brings in the conversation of different homes do different things, right?
Exactly.
What is your nanny structure like? Are you a dig bag person? Are you a live-in person? I think you've mentioned 2 workers in your home.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah, tell us more about that.
So I am a day bag person.
Okay.
From day one. I remember when I came home with my first baby, in fact, I told the nanny, just come tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being discharged from the hospital today. You come in tomorrow. It's okay. And it's been a day bag situation since. I just enjoy. Okay. I think it was in the first episode where I talked about like really enjoying my work, which I absolutely do. And before children or before motherhood, I was a bit of a workaholic. And for me, I knew that if I had a live-in nanny, it would only get worse because it's easy to want to escape the tough situations. Sometimes like the baby is crying or there's something that is needed. But I also knew that at night, because I was fully breastfeeding, that I would not really need someone there. So I needed someone to come in fresh for work and then, disconnect. So I've always had day bags. So both of them are day bags. So 1 comes in much earlier, leaves a bit earlier, then the other one comes in a bit later, leaves much later.
So they come, the nanny of course comes every day.
Both of them come every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even the
and
housekeeper.
then Saturday, Sunday they change. So 1 comes on Saturday, the other one comes on Sunday. So at any given point, I have my community.
You have help.
Yes. Listen, that's the one thing I don't necessarily want to say I have refused to do, but I love being at peace.
Yeah.
And like when we go somewhere, I love to be able to enjoy it as well. You go to a birthday party and this, again, different families do different things. I like to be present. I like to enjoy the food at the party. And
the conversations.
I like, if it's a family event, I like to be able to hang out with my siblings and to see my nephews and to like enjoy other children that I love and to enjoy other people that I love. And I know when I have my children, primarily just me taking care of them, even with their father, like children tend to come to the mother, So that's that.
My structure at home is 1 nanny.
Okay.
So she does both the housework and the nanny
Yeah.
work. But I always tell them my child is your boss. So he comes first.
Okay.
But then I've structured work at home in such a way that it's not too overwhelming for them on the day. So I don't expect them to clean the house every day. They clean it they skip a day.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I also have a machine, so they don't have to hand wash.
Yeah, you've automated some of the processes.
Exactly. So it's a bit manageable and easier for them as well. So that's the structure at home. One nanny / housekeeper, and that's how we've been surviving. And the first time I had my nanny, she came a month before I delivered, so she could be helping out and familiarize herself, and just to see how I bond with her. And she's a live-in as well. I've even growing up, I've always grown up with live-in nannies. Even to date, when my parents in an empty nest, they have a live-in nanny.
No,
so
it definitely makes sense.
Day bag has never been a thing for me, and I feel live-in works very well for me because it also gives me flexibility in terms of I can move at night. As I said in the beginning of this episode,
fun girls.
Sometimes just want to have fun. We like date nights with my husband, so it's nice to know that I can leave my kids with someone and they're fine.
It sounds like you have some useful tips there. So maybe shall we segue a little bit into that? Yes. So what's your useful tip for this week?
So my useful tip for this week is not nanny related.
Oh, okay.
But it's something that I remembered from the breastfeeding episode that we had last week. And it's not discarding spoiled breast milk.
Ooh, interesting.
Breast milk is liquid gold, literally. So you can use it in the baby's bath. It's good for their skin, very moisturizing. And I also used to make a diaper cream for him.
From breast milk?
So I used to mix coconut oil and breast milk. And it gives a really nice, light diaper cream.
Interesting. That I must try. I'm all about the natural ways of doing things. So that I must try.
It is really good.
And how long does it stay on the shelf? Or you have to cool it and freeze it?
I used to keep mine in the fridge.
Okay.
Yeah, so that at least it's solid. Because of course coconut oil, with how it's structured, to melt down. So I keep it in the fridge so that it's soft, it hardens, and then I would just take it in and out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I'm definitely going to try, and I'll let you know how it goes.
It's really moisturizing. It's really good.
Yeah.
And the balm. And your useful tip?
My useful tip, also not nanny related, but it's something I discovered just recently. As a pregnant woman, one of the biggest discomforts is when you're driving and you have your seatbelt on and it keeps touching your belly and sometimes pushing it a little bit and stuff. But I discovered this could be a feature in just my car, but I've seen it in a different car as well. The seatbelt has a little stopper, which when you close it, you can pull the front part and put the stopper and it doesn't squish your stomach. So I've always wondered why the thing is there, because it's just there. And I was like, this is, very considerate of those of us gaining weight for a new role. And it was just really, really cool. So I thought
that's
that
interesting.
was...
I'll have to look in my car. I've never seen such a feature.
I hope you find it, because it's really, because with the first baby, I bought that. There's a little thing that you put to extend your seatbelt that doesn't work because you have to...
Is it the one that you put on the seat and then you
it extends?
Hook the
but it doesn't always
seat.
work.
And I was actually seeing research that is actually not tested. It's actually not safe.
So for me it was because if you're wearing a dress, you have to pull it all the way for it to go under.
Exactly. It doesn't
it's
make
so
sense.
inconveniencing. So but I'm sure if it's not there, if you're really desperate, there's a way you can create something that just stops it a little bit, so it still holds you on the chest. And what's your big win this week?
I did a maternity shoot for my second born baby.
Oh, that must have been cute.
This is a win because I didn't get to do one for my firstborn. The day he came on a Sunday, and I was meant to do the shoot on that following Monday. So I was cancelling with everyone. during the weekend whilst in labor, like, guys, bring me back my deposit. Baby's here now.
Oh my goodness. I remember when, I don't remember what shop I bought like the first clothes for my baby at, and they gave like a voucher for a baby shoot, like a maternity shoot.
Oh, that is so nice.
But I never did it. I've never done one. But I can imagine that is really, really like beautiful.
Yeah.
And maybe because I also don't like pictures.
Okay.
So I think about it and I'm like, no,
not your thing.
Oh, that is so cute.
Yeah, I was glad to do it. I was happy to do it. And what's your big win?
Well, my big win this week was moving houses.
Oh yeah.
I've been in renovation mode for 2 months. And like doing that while pregnant was a bit much. But then moving and like seeing the kids really excited, I'm glad, like I was thinking about it and I said, I'm glad I did it with them because then they've gotten to experience like moving. Having the movers come, of course, is just fantastic. Interestingly, I moved within the same block I used to live in. So I just moved like 2 houses down. And now I'm on the ground floor, which is also really amazing. Not having to go up the steps. I think that for me has been a game changer.
Yeah.
But then just seeing how excited the kids were, like excited for the new house, excited, to be moving, sad that they'll miss their friends who are literally 2 floors up. And they were just, it was just this thing. You're like, children, do you know people have bigger problems in life, but then their friends have been able to come and like just seeing that they're also not missing out on that as much, because initially like I have these amazing neighbors. Our doors are literally open to each other, which means like their kids can come into my house at any time, my kids can go into their house at any time, but now like knowing that of course they have to make a small journey, to do that. But that has been my big win. Finally like settling. Moving is also quite draining in terms of like your mental capacity and stuff. Finally just knowing that is done, now we can move on to something else. So that has been great. That has been great. But of course when you move, you find things that you're like, oh, this socket doesn't work, okay, I still need to call the electrician. This doesn't, okay, we still need to so yeah, but it's great. It's great. It's a win.
So we go back to our conversation.
Yes, about the nannies.
So where'd you get your nannies from?
So I have done both like the bureau. The first nanny I got from the bureau. And like you, I had her come in like a month before. So for a month, like getting to know her, showing her where everything is, how I like things to be, the expected schedule, menus and things like that, just thinking about. So the very first one was just one before I got the second one. And it was, went to a bureau and interviewed like 5 ladies there. And it was interesting. It was an interesting experience and experiment, I think, where like there's one who was like, you're like my daughter and I would. And I'm like, I don't want anyone to come and mother me in my house. Because also, when you put something like that over someone, it's like, now it's like I live with my mom. There are things I can't do. There are things I can do and stuff. And then the second one was a referral. And ever since I have done referrals, like the ones that I get, I either talk to the nanny that I have or the security guards, because they would know someone who's looking for work. And also for me, it's I know you, so you better bring me someone someone who's good, and stuff. And I find, that it's work. It's a personality thing. Like when they've worked, when they've not worked, it's normally a personality thing. Sometimes a competition thing. So what about you? How do you get your nannies?
I get my nannies through bureaus. Multiple bureaus.
Okay.
So I would interview different nannies that have been provided by different bureaus. I typically do phone interviews, and I just go with my gut, man, because your gut will never lie. I guess.
Oh, great!
So I just go with my gut, how I feel about this person. And the structure that the bureau uses in terms of payment is the employer will pay the upfront fee, and then you share it with your nanny. So the next salary that you're paying them,
they're paying
deduct. You keep it for yourself. But most times I end up not deducting. I'm like,
I think I remember
okay.
even the first one I was like, it's a bureau fees, let's just start. And
I was like, it's okay. Referrals, I've not used referrals as much. They've never stood out for me. So I've never employed a referral. And I'm curious to know, do you have criteria when you're coming to choose a nanny? Because I know people are very particular about the tribe. People are particular about the age. As you've said, you cancelled one because they're gonna come and mother you in your house. So what are your criteria?
So my criteria, with the first one, I wasn't very particular, and of course, a lot of the things I learned much later. But for me, it's important that they have children, because it's pretty much like what's your work experience beyond, like, how to handle a machine, or it's also how to be up with a sick baby. How to take care, how to love your own baby, kind of thing. Age wise, not like nothing too far away from me. My husband is a bit older than I am, so cannot be older than my husband. So anything in between, like my age and his age, works really well. So early 40s and stuff, it works well. I have seen issues, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about this afterwards, but having like a very young nanny or
the Gen Zs.
And I can't trust you with that. So for me, in fact, my most important criteria is you must have children. And especially because mine are live out, it's it works out well that they get to just go back to their kids. It also can't be like you have a toddler, because I would feel very terrible about like having used, because there are days when I'm working really late. Generally, I don't tend to be out, at night, but then, or I'm traveling. It's also I need to make sure that you also have a system that is taking care of your children when I'm doing that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what about you? What's your
age? I usually prefer millennials, to be fair. I prefer that 28 to 30, 32.
So now, around your age group as well. Yeah.
I don't like the old mamas or the older generation, because I just feel they won't have the energy to chase around my toddler. And I also don't want to feel like I have my mother in the house.
Yes.
And I would feel so bad giving her instructions. I'm just like, no. So I'd rather someone who's in my age group. I did hire once Gen Z, and she showed me dust. Hey,
how did that go?
She showed me. First of all, she was not clean. So on Sundays, my husband and I found ourselves, we are cleaning. Now we're cleaning behind the balcony. We're cleaning the washing machine behind, because none of that is clean. She will only clean where it's visible. If there's a chair there,
no moving.
She will not move it to clean. And it's something, maybe it's just her personality, but okay, it just so happened that she was Gen Z.
Yeah.
And then she also left for school. And that's one thing I didn't think about when I was interviewing her.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was a possibility that she'd actually leave for school. Because I'm like, most times when someone is coming to do nanny work, you think that this is their job.
Destiny.
Like,
they're
not planning to start going to school. But one day she asked me, okay, let me go home. There's a harambe happening. So I'm like, okay, fine, just go. So I gave her the weekend off.
did
So I'm
not tell
calling
you
her.
that Said Harambe is for her to go to school.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm calling her. I'm like, oh, Lifika, how did the Harambe go? It was good. In fact, we were able to raise money for my school fees. I was like, sorry, what? You're who now?
Yeah.
So I was so shocked. So when she came, I was like, okay, so when are you leaving? Like, why didn't you tell me about this? And the thing is, I didn't even think about it. Like, I didn't think she had ambitions for school.
Yeah.
So that's also one thing that opened my eyes. I'm like, okay, I need to be asking this. Like, what are your plans?
What's your long-term plan?
What are your
What's your
long-term
5 to 10 year
between
plan?
2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
What are your plans?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's important to know. Tribe-wise, I have no preference for tribe.
No, neither do I.
I don't have a preference for tribe, but I know women who are so particular about tribe. Like, these ones are not good.
There's
These ones are
a
not
bureau
bad.
that my sister hired from.
Yeah.
And in that list, because I had the number of the lady, and she would put on her WhatsApp stories and say, I have X number of Kikuyu women, X number of Luya, X number of XXX, and these are their age groups and stuff, because they're people who are very, very particular. I have happened to Amkisi, only have Luya with no like preference.
Stereotype,
or stereotyping. Yeah. And in fact, I feel like my kids are more Luya than they are like Kisi or Kikuyu, which is, when they are talking their language, or, a lot of the foods we eat are influenced by like Luya, like culinary options and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I mean, as long as it's healthy, clean, good food,
it's fine.
Make it delicious, we're good. Yeah. I generally don't have. But for me, like when I'm hiring, the one thing I tell people that I hire into my house, at least, is you are coming in to be my personal assistant. So don't think of this like you're coming to compliment me. So we're not going to start having hassles and tussles of who's that I'm very specific about. And I think like the younger folks, before I even talk about that, there's one that I interviewed, and when I interview, if I like you, you come in for like a day, first of all.
Okay.
Yeah, to see how like the kids gel, to see how you gel with the other one. And she didn't tell me this, but when they were hanging out, she told the other one, oh, by the way, I used to have a salon, but it closed. So I need money to open it back up. So yeah, I need a gig for like 3 months. So, and then it's, then I was told like, yeah, if
she's not here
she
for the
doesn't
long
have,
term.
yeah. So going back to the long term. And for me, it's also kind of that conversation, just open conversation of, I don't view a nanny as less than, or I don't judge. Like I do have academic qualification, you must have done Form 4.
Yes. Me too.
Because my kids, before they go to formal school, are homeschooled. I don't do the homeschooling. They do. I come up with a schedule. I buy the books. I do, and my husband, now that, especially the first one, he does a lot of like the homeworks and everything. But sometimes he needs to rush and stuff. He will communicate with, the kids' nanny and be like, today's homework is this and stuff. Like, you guys do it and all. So I needed to make sure that happens. So I talked to them about like, because sometimes there's a bit of that stereotype of I'm less than because I'm a nanny and stuff. And I'm like, no, I do
an inferiority complex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I talked to them and I'm like, I hope you're not doing this because you have no other option in life. Maybe there was a time that was true, but now I hope your heart is fully in this. And I will know if it's not. So when you're coming in, you're going to work, you're going to an office, the same way I go to an office, and this is your work. So don't do it and like, oh, I'm just doing this for now until I get a better option. I hope you get a better option. I hope that option is growing with us. But then, your heart can't be halfway in and halfway out. So for me, like, that's why maybe I like the older ladies, because it's also I hope we're not planning to do like just yesterday, I was talking to one of them, and I said, I'm gonna bring in the chef to teach you guys how to cook like samosas, and there's a particular way whenever we have a chef around, they cook this particular thing that I like. So that part of your growth is I'm also going to invest in, if there's something I like that you don't know how to do, we're going to I'll get you to learn how to do it. If you want to do XYZ, that I'm going to be invested in that. They have kids. There's one, I paid for the kid to go to college to learn how to be a mechanic. And in fact, just this morning, she shared the certificate from Nita and stuff. So for me, it's like there's a level of investment as well. If you're raising my children, to a certain extent, I'll help raise your children so that we are all aligned. Because I think about even formal employment, that my employer, if they're giving me health insurance, for example, they'd be like, oh yeah, you can get your children covered as well. That my formal employer, while it's not a direct benefit to my family, there are things they do that enable, my family. So I also think about it in that way. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Are there things that maybe you have learned, like you never knew you had that in you until you got a nanny in your house?
I didn't know that I could fire someone when they have not outrightly done anything wrong, but they're just not a cultural fit for my home.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing I had to do. Like, at some point, I even just had to, in my head, I just had to villainize her.
Yeah, like in fact, there was that one day the plate was not entirely clean.
Exactly. So I had to villainize her so that I don't feel so bad about it. But really, everything, my gut, my spirit was just not settled. Neither was my husband. So I'm like, okay, what is this? Because I can't really say there's something wrong that you've done in particular that warrants you to be fired. But then I don't feel like you should stay home.
Yeah.
And I went back and forth with the decision. I'm talking to my mom, and she's like, imagine that is enough for you to
gut feeling
someone.
is quite important.
I'm like, I struggled. I'm like, wait, how will she, her kids, what it was really hard. I didn't know I could fire. So I fired someone.
Okay.
No, because we're not a cultural fit at home.
I think that's important.
Decision.
It's the same way, like people fire a nanny, like they're fantastic housekeepers, they're good nannies, they're clean, but the baby just doesn't like them. And really, you can't force the baby to like them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just that, and
that's true. So what questions do you usually ask during your interview?
That's a good one. For me, it's generally get to know them. I ask like, tell me about your parents. Tell me about because we're gonna be in a very intimate space. You are going to at a point make my bed. You're going to feed my children. You're going to do all these things.
Oh, so no, before you continue.
Yes.
So you let your nannies wash your room and make your bed?
Oh, listen.
And put clothes in the wardrobe?
Did I tell you I am I work hard so that the household runs, and that means I don't have to worry about whether my sheets in my bed are changed. No, my nanny does everything and anything. Well, that's the housekeeper.
Yeah, housekeeper.
Yeah, like ironing, putting clothes. Like when I mentioned that my big win was moving, days before we moved, went down, like figure out where things go. You will tell me where things are. I am like, I'm at peace with myself as a human being. Yeah. So I, because for me it's a task. I don't really,
I know, it's just like any other room.
Yeah, I don't.
In the house.
I don't. And during our parents' time, they used to keep like cash in the house and you can do like safety boxes and stuff. And of course, like nannies, sometimes steal and things like that. But right now, it's like it's a room. It's a room. Yes, it's a room where babies are made, but it's also a room in the house. And can you imagine if I'm wondering whether I have responded to a client or to my boss's email or to this thing, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot to switch off the iron box. That's just a lot, and so for me, the way I say I have rigged my life is in a way that there are things I honestly don't have to ever think about. And so I'm fine with my beds, being done, because they do the kids' beds. I'm fine with my husband's clothes being laundered and folded and put in the right place, because he's also busy doing other things, making sure this family is moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I do not have any ambition at all about putting that burden over my head at all. I hope my husband doesn't think that then I don't love him enough because I am not the one who's folding his clothes.
Because you delegated.
Because I delegated. But no.
Okay.
What about you? Do you?
No, she washes.
Okay.
Washes, does the laundry, folds. Like, the only thing I'd do probably is just putting the clothes in the wardrobe, but that's because I like a particular system.
Yes.
Which I have not yet taught her. But yeah, she cleans like any other part of the room.
For me,
makes my bed, changes the sheets when they need to be changed.
Yeah. And it's amazing to have someone who walks into the bathroom and is like, we're running out of tissue here, and brings it. It's Tuesday, we need to wash all the towels. It's this day, we need to change all the sheets. Now, can you imagine, I need to worry if the child has been picked from school and whether we actually change the bed covers.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Let everyone do their job. Anyway, back to your questions. What do you ask?
So for me, it's I talk about their family because I want to know them, because at a point they're going to be exposed to my family. So I don't want to be like this open, book, and then I know nothing about them. So I need to know your parents, when you grew up, siblings, some cases you find they're a single mother, how did you end up there? It could be my husband died, or the guy cheated and left. And because also I realized the reason why I asked that, there's a nanny who was abused by her husband. And initially, I never understood, like, she was always very fearful around authority. When you're giving instructions.
From a man?
No, just even from me, like when I give instructions, like you could see she does things in a very hasty way, in a very fearful
like
way.
Anxious.
Exactly, she's anxious about like things being perfect and right and stuff. And then you realize this is someone who got married very young. She was abused, physically, emotionally, financially for a very long time.
Yeah.
So she's associated authority with fear. And if you don't know that, you struggle with that person because you're like, okay, so why are you doing the things that you're doing the way that you're doing them? You'll find there's one who's doing things because their parents left them as a child. The single mother maybe was abandoned, and those what we call childhood traumas live with someone for a very long time, and you get to. So for me, I love to know those things.
Okay.
So I'll ask those questions so that they're out of the way. So that sometimes when you're doing things a certain way, I know where is this actually coming from, and I know how to react to that, because sometimes you could overreact and then you find it something innately in someone that you can't quite change or you can't fix. And then of course work experience. In most cases someone's gonna say, I was with this family, then they moved countries, or they moved to Kisumu and I didn't want to move to Kisumu.
Hey, that story has been running.
I was with a Sudanese family, they moved back to Sudan. It's that one is neither here nor there. But the one thing that I think I asked that I think is very important is I asked them, like, why wouldn't anyone hire you? Like, if I was your friend, what can you tell me about you that would make me not hire you?
That's an interesting question.
So
what do they usually say?
So it's some the last round of interviews I had, someone said, unajua, okay, for our listeners, it said, I'm a baby girl. Like, even at home, my dad calls me baby girl.
Wow.
So, and this was someone like near 50. And so she said, so I don't like being shouted at. Like everything with me has to be gentle. And I was like, that's actually a very interesting one. It probably means I have to walk around eggshells around you because, and it's
But also
not their
shouting.
fault.
Shouting is a bit. I mean, why would you be shouting?
No, exactly. Why would I be shouting? But when someone is already telling you, even to their father, they are the baby girl, there's a level of, okay, there's gonna be conflicts at a point. We're human beings. We might get into conflict. How do we solve that?
Yeah.
If I can't honestly tell you. And shouting sometimes can be subjective. It's like when my kids are being loud, I'm like, why are you being loud? They're like, Mama, we're playing. I'm like, okay, that's on the, So yeah, so there are many interesting, sometimes someone can tell you, I'm a single mother and stuff, and you're like, well, that's not a reason not to hire you because you're a single mother.
Yeah.
So there are many, it's pretty much what's in the corporate world. Tell me about your weaknesses. But for me, I like to twist it in a way that someone can self-reflect and ask themselves, like, what is it about me? Like, what are my things and how can I maybe work on those things too, to do that? So yeah, so I like to ask that question, like, why wouldn't anyone hire you? Because when you talk about like, why did you leave your last job? No one talks about like, my last employer did this and that and I didn't find it comfortable. They'll give you a story like, they used to fight. It's never their fault. It's like, they used to fight and I didn't think that was a good environment for me. And sometimes it's true, but sometimes it's like something that is told like, if you tell someone this, then they'll do that. And then there's one who had worked in one of the interviews. There's one who had worked for like a popular politician, and they just kept going on and on and on about like their family life and stuff and how they operate and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, well, this is interesting from a girlfriend's hanging out point of view. I don't think I want, because I in fact tell my nannies, when you're out there making friends and talking to people in the neighborhood, by the time someone tells you something about their household, you must bring something. Like, you must bring
equal tea.
So you must bring equal tea.
Yes.
So I wonder what kind of tea you bring
You're
out
taking.
there. Exactly about. So
Yeah.
I also discourage like me gossiping with my house helps, as amazing as that would be. Because I'm like, while you're gossiping out there, you must be saying, Mama so and so also does, or Baba so and so also does. So yeah. So for me, it's just kind of, sometimes you listen even without asking a question, and it gives you a lot of information. So it's not just about question. It's also like you could ask something that has themselves self-introspecting, and they're like, yeah, and then they tell you something, you're like, yeah. What about you when you're doing your phone interviews?
I ask, of course, their names, so I get to just know about them, their bio, how many kids they have. I also prefer nannies with kids.
Okay.
And who okay, you're coming to take care of my kid, but who's taking care of your kids?
Yes.
So
yeah, do you have a community taking care of them? Yeah, that's also important.
So who's taking care of your kids? What level of education did you reach?
Yeah.
I prefer Form 4 level.
Yeah.
Just because I need you to converse with my child. I need you also to be able to write, even though it's writing grocery list. I find out what languages they can speak other than their mother tongue, of course.
Yeah.
I'd prefer English and Swahili as well.
Yeah.
For them, because they can speak to my son in both languages. What else do I find out? I ask if they go to church, if they're a prayerful person. What church they go to. Just to know. Because they get off on Sundays. So how are you spending your Sundays? Where are you going? Kind of thing. I also, one thing that I realized is very important is to disclose the fact that I have nanny cams in my house. And I make it clear to them, I am not putting them to monitor you. well and good, but I'm putting them so that I can see my child.
Yeah.
Because at any point in time, I want to put on my cam and see where my baby is, how he's doing, etc., etc. Because I had a nanny who left because I put nanny cams.
Yeah, I think that's also an interesting thing to talk about, which is the nanny cams.
Yeah.
Like, how do you make that decision? And also, do you see, like, if you're watching it, you know how you would, there's always that sign that says smile, you're on camera. Do you think that they change their behavior just because they could be watched? Like, as much as you're watching your baby,
saying,
it's like, I'm also in the room, so I'm being watched.
No, I'd rather you change your behavior and act properly.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd rather you do that than, do some wild things to the house, my child, whatever. So I won't put the nanny cam in their private quarters.
Oh, yeah.
No. But common areas I will put, and they're very big. I've not hidden them. I'm not putting hidden cams. They are there. You will see the wires and you'll see that for sure.
There's a camera.
And most times I don't even look. I think it's just psychological for me, honestly.
Yeah.
I just want to know that when I look, I can see my baby and see how he's doing.
Yeah.
If I pick up some weird behavior from the nanny, I will let her know. Yeah, but it's been okay. It's been okay so far. People have been adapting. And also back to the questions that I ask, I also have started asking situational awareness questions. Like, if my baby is naggy today or cranky, how would you handle that kind of question? Just to see, are you good with kids? Are you going to analyze the situation, properly? I would ask, how do you entertain the child, perhaps, because I'm on a no screen policy.
Yeah.
So she needs to.
And that's very important for the baby to also develop properly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then I also just describe the kind of work she's coming to do, our family situation, that is, there's a husband and a kid, and this is the number of rooms. This is the kind of work you're going to be doing. Is it something that, you're comfortable taking up or not? And then I just go think about it, feel how I feel about that conversation and how they responded, and I settle on one.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is not like a direct question, for me it's also observation, is how their personality, especially when you have small children. When you're just adults, you want someone who's quiet, and keeps to themselves because you want a level of silence. But then with kids, you want someone who is slightly hyper because you want someone who's going to entertain the child and do. There's a round of interviews where I went with my kid just to we're here. And the baby has gone there. Like, are you being mindful? Situational awareness.
Yeah.
Are you being mindful that there's a kid in the environment, and this is potentially a kid that you will be watching? Like, how do they react? There's some who are just focused on you, don't care. The kid fell, not my problem at this point. And there's some who are just like, you can see they're a bit distracted by the child being in the environment. And you're like, so this is someone who's most likely going to be a bit more aware about. So especially when I was doing the nanny interview, not the housekeeper. For me, that was important. So I came with the child and let's see how you actually react to these situations of it's an environment where baby is going to want to climb up a table. Like, how do we solve this in this moment? So some of them are observation. And I think it's also important to see, and I've seen with small children, you don't want a nanny who's quiet.
Yeah.
They need to be a bit entertaining because someone is going to put TV on because you're not at home. And, unless you're you of course have cameras or you're observing, they'll put the TV on and then baby can't speak. You know, because...
And you're wondering why?
Yeah, like they're hitting their milestones. They're doing everything right and stuff. And then it just becomes a big issue.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But also enforcing the rules is quite important. You know, things like for me, my kids have access to TV and cartoons, but only after like 5:15 p.m. In the evening until 7 when they go to bed. So things like that where someone can be like, oh, but you know, for me, I like it. And some pushback. They're like, I like it when the baby is able to have access to the TV at any given time, or I can watch the news or whatever. And I'm like, no, not in my house. Yeah.
I think another thing that's usually important to discuss is the age of your kids, because there's some who cannot do with a newborn.
No, they're very clear. They're like, I don't do kids. Yeah. I've had the one who worked at the politician actually, who said she doesn't do kids below the age of 4.
And that's valid.
Exactly. Not everyone has to deal with children. Yeah.
You tell me. Actually, now that you're talking about this, the reason why I fired that nanny who had done nothing wrong is because I just felt she was not engaging with my son as well. So they're just quiet, looking at each other. I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
See you speak, do something, sing songs. Even though you're gonna put Shio's Meru, so I'm like, even put Meru songs on YouTube and sing.
And that's okay.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Because I usually tell them, put on YouTube, but turn your phone around. So he only hears.
He's not watching.
Yeah, he's not watching.
Yeah.
Like, do something.
Yeah. And that's an interesting point as well. Your kid having access to the nanny's phone. Do you have any rule around that?
So of course they can't watch the thingy, the phone. And taking photos of my kid, no, and posting anywhere, no, don't do that. I generally allow my nannies to have access to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, same here.
I don't have a problem with that, as long as you're using your phone when you're finished with work.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you're with my baby, you're not on your phone. That's the general. You can housework. I don't care. You can always work when you're doing cooking or you can always text and whatever. But when you're with my child, no phone.
Exactly. I have the same. One, the kids should never have access to your phone. You guys can listen to music, or when you're on break, like when they're eating, like when it's lunchtime, I assume it's also like a break time and stuff. Like as the kids are eating, you can be on your phone and stuff. But then it can't be the kids are like, oh, I'm so bored, give me your phone and stuff. No. Yeah, no taking pictures of the kids, posting them and doing all that. Like sometimes when we have like birthdays and celebrations, when we take pictures, I also share with them. But there's of course you can't reshare this like I also like it when there's individual pictures of them taken at like parties and stuff, because sometimes you're at a party, you also want to pose for a picture. So I'm like, I'll also give you that moment, and you can post this, you can talk about like an amazing place you went to and things like that. But then, it's also, they have access to Wi-Fi, because sometimes it's also cheaper when they communicate with you on WhatsApp. Or if I'm traveling, like I get to call if their father is out of the house, I get to call, using their phones. And in fact, when I hire the nannies, I buy them smartphones because of my work kind of schedule, just to make sure that if I need access to the kids, if I need to like do a video call and stuff, that I can actually do that. I'm
curious to know, how easy was it at least with your first baby, how easy was it for you to let the nanny handle the baby? At what point did you do it?
With the first baby, not very quick. That actually reminds me of one of the things that I observed through conversation is how squeamish they are around things like poop and kids wetting themselves and stuff, because you need someone who can be quick to action. Like now when pregnant, I can't wipe my kids when they've gone to the bathroom all the time, because like nausea and stuff. So it's like you need someone who can help you, do that. So that's also something to like. One way find out, it can be a direct question. Can you change a poopy diaper, for example? There are people who just say, no, I can't, But with the first baby, I did most of it wasn't just the husband who was,
exiled.
It was everyone. It was my baby. But then with the second baby, by month 2, I was like, is the baby washed? Is she changed? Thanks. It was much easier to do that. And you could tell there's also that initiative. And even for like the nanny specifically, a reason I love her so much, with the housekeeper, like the housekeeper had to go through her to have access to the baby. It was like, also, this is a small baby. Not everyone should, be in the baby's space. So there's a lot of that, but it also took like being with her for 2 years to trust enough, like,
2 years. Wow.
So before the second baby came, to be like, okay, I have seen what you're doing with the first one. I'm comfortable enough for you to handle the second one. So I've been lucky in that way that, maybe on number 3 she'll be at the hospital waiting
with
room.
you.
Just be like, here is your baby. In fact, one of the conversations we once had, because she has 4 kids, she was like, so now, this was like 2 months in after the second one. Like, now you need to start thinking about the third. I'm like, excuse me, what are you talking about? I know. And she was like, you see, just have children. I'll take care of them. So even this time when I was announcing to them that I'm pregnant, because I needed to warn them, like when I'm pregnant, I'm extremely moody. She was so excited. And in fact, I said, you said you wanted more children. So she was like, I'm ready. We're good. We're going to do this. So even now, like she takes care of like a lot of the things around me, because it's like taking care of the baby as well, than the housekeeper does. Like the housekeeper does general housekeeping, but the nanny is like, oh, in the morning, like, have you had your fruits? Do you want uji? Like she knows exactly how my uji should be. In the evening, what do you want to have for dinner and stuff? So that is kind of just in terms of how I've also separated the roles a little bit. Yeah.
Oh wow. For me, I struggled. Then the nanny was my nanny. So she was taking care of me.
Yes. So you can take care of the baby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So she'd do like serving me food, all those things, but she would not even look.
And that makes sense. Yeah, the first few months, especially with the first baby, is like, no.
My gosh.
Yeah.
I remember the only time she was able to handle him was because my husband is the one he was doing the shift for in the morning. So me was taking a nap. So he gave the nanny the baby, because the nanny asked for the baby to sunbathe and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why did you do that? I felt some type of way about it. I'm like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? But yeah, the first time she ever held my baby was at 4 months.
Oh wow.
And that's because I realized, oh gosh, I'm going to work.
They need to start bonding.
Yeah, they need to start bonding. Someone needs to take care of this child and I'm away.
Yeah.
So that's when I now did like a crash course. This is how you should take care of a baby. Blah, 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 blah. And that's when I was able to do it. And once I did, it was so liberating.
Yeah.
It was so liberating, because I'm like, someone else can take care of the baby.
I think for me, like the wake-up call was, I remember working from home, COVID days, I was on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And I was changing a poopy diaper with the child who was crying. And I was like, listen, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Because she had been asking, like, let me do this. And I'm like, no, I want to do it. Like, you take care of me so I can take care of the baby. But then I went back to work. And it was this struggle. Like, after that night, I was like, no. Like, from tomorrow, you wash the baby and you change diapers.
Yeah.
But I had the sleeping baskets in my office. Like, I would feed. The baby would just sleep through the calls and stuff. Like, I would do that. But then when it was time for a diaper change, like, I would call her and she would do it. And it was peace of mind.
Yeah.
Peace of mind. Just kind of delegating and letting go a little bit.
So for us, we still birth the baby.
Okay.
Yeah, we still birth the baby. I feel I just want to keep control of that one thing.
I don't miss it.
You don't miss it?
No. First of all, it's
like
messy.
It's either me.
They have lots of conditions. Don't wash my face with soap. Don't do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's okay.
So it's either myself or my husband who washes the kid. Although I also have relaxed on that department, such that if we are somewhere and we get late, she can still do it.
Yeah.
But I'll have to train her, like, this is how you wash the baby, this is what you do, blah blah blah. Or if they've gone to Shosho's house, of course she's gonna have to.
Yeah.
But when they go to Shosho's house, I'm like, Mom, be there.
Make sure.
Be there when she's washing. Just to monitor things, just to make sure things are fine. Yeah, but I like to keep that for us, that you can be able to see, okay, are there any body marks?
Yeah.
Any form of abuse happening?
Yeah.
And also just to bond. Like, I don't want to delegate everything.
Yeah. I think as we started this conversation, and to be very honest, I've never thought about this, but as we started, I was reflecting back. The main reason why I think I don't have a live-in nanny is because I was abused as a child.
Oh.
So it's something that I had never thought about, which is, because I was...
You were abused by the nanny?
I was abused by the nanny.
Like physical abuse?
Yeah, like, it was... I remember getting pinched a lot and getting beaten a lot, like at night. And it was threats of, like, if you say it, I'm going... I remember my brother once fought a nanny because she beat me.
Yo.
And my brother was... And maybe that's why he's my best friend. But he would fight off, like, don't do that to my sister and stuff. And I was always threatened, like, don't tell your parents. If you say it, I'm gonna do it again. So I was always like, so I think maybe that is one of the reasons why. So it's taken me a while, and maybe that's why with the first baby I was like very protective. I was like so like check for, so every so often I do it, but it's not something I honestly enjoy doing. I'm like, the one thing I kept sacred for sure was doing their hair.
Okay.
So I do their hair every Sunday. Like wash, braid, check for anything, dandruff and stuff. I mix the oils myself. But now with pregnancy, I'm like, I don't have the back, man. So every so often, like when we do it, I'll tell the nanny to do it, but then I supervise. I'm like, after it's done, come here, let me see and stuff. Okay, let me oil you, because we can do that while just sitting. So that is easier. But as much as possible, now I feel like I'm delegating as well, because once they go to school, there's a teacher they have to tell to wipe them after they've gone to the toilet, so it's also like, so I have to learn to delegate so that it's easier. But for me, like, one of the things I do with the kids is try as much as possible to make sure they're independent before they go to school. And I know that I cannot develop that system by myself. I need help. I need someone who's like, this is how often they go to poop or to susu, and when you susu, this is what you do. When you poo-poo, this is what you do. But because I am also a full-time, like, working mom, I'm like, I don't have the time to do all of that. So my kids have been potty trained fully by the nanny. I have not been involved. I cannot take any credit. My kids know my full names, their father's full names, their grandparents on both sides, full everything. I cannot take any credit for that. But I think a lot of that is, I also like allowed, empowered the nannies. So sometimes, she'll come and be like, this one is out of this one is out of that. Next time you go to the shop, this one is reacting to this particular jelly. Let's try this other one, because they have eczema as well. So I know, because I work full time, I'm not able to take care of some of those things. So as much as I can supervise some things, there's some things that will fall through the cracks.
Interesting. I think it's very clear how personalities shine through as you're parenting as well.
Yes.
Yeah, because for me, I prefer to do all those things. If I could do them myself. Like I would take care of my child by myself.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't do housework. I'll delegate. But child
take
childcare,
yeah.
I will do it. Like I want to know what you have a new scratch. How did it happen? When did it happen?
Yes. Oh no, those ones are always there. Like, so how did this happen? Where were you? Where was this person when this happened? So because you also want for them to be vigilant about, your kids
child
getting like too many marks and stuff. Yeah. So that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting.
Well, I mean, you've stayed with your nanny for such a long time, but do you have, do you have any crazy housekeeper stories?
Yes.
Have you experienced?
Oh my goodness. Like the last hiring that I did ended up being so crazy. It was like someone's pastor was involved. Someone's pastor was receiving pictures from my house of like, it just became so competitive. So my nanny recommended the housekeeper that we had for 2 years, actually. And I thought everything was going well. But then they also lived like in close proximity. So that kind of brings like you're with this person the whole day and then your children see each other all the time. And they just, it almost became like you can't, because I buy my nanny's clothes and they're
uniformed.
No. They're just regular clothes. But I'm like, in my house, this is what I prefer for you to be wearing. Because I don't want you also in like torn clothes and like dirty clothes or inappropriate clothes and stuff like that. So it's my responsibility to be like, we need sweaters. So when I go, shopping, I'll buy sweaters for everyone and stuff. Or if I see something, I'm like, oh, so-and-so would like this. Or, I have seen this is more their style and stuff, kind of thing. At a point, is it early this year? They were like, we want to wear deras. I'm like, what? I personally don't like deras. I'm like, why? Why would they're like, they're easier to move around when we're with the kids. When you're mopping, it's just easier to maneuver. I apparently was putting them in like office wear and like smart casual type stuff. So anyway, so it just became like, if I go to the market and I get a sweater someone might like and I buy it, I won't get some like two things because there is two. I'm like, next time maybe I'll find something for this person. And then it's like, oh, you got something I did not get. And so it just became this big issue. And then they would be like bickering with each other. And then like the housekeeper would be like, oh, she lifted this cup instead of putting it, because I'm very strict on coasters in the house. Instead of putting it on the coaster, she put it, on the table, so that I get in trouble, because then that would have a mark. So it became, you're doing this to spoil it for me, or you're doing this to spoil it for the next person. And then where I drew the line was when the kids got involved. It was like someone was like, oh yeah, that person's spaghetti is not even tasty. And the kids went back to it was this thing. And I had to be like, this is a really good housekeeper and this is a really good nanny. They just are not getting along because of things that have nothing to do with me. So if I have to make that decision, who do I let go? And the husband was involved. Like, you help me make this decision. And we made the decision. And even in that moment, I still struggled. And it took another 2 weeks. And the person we were going to let go anyway quit. But it was also like, oh, this is not a victory, for you. So don't think that you've won. So we had to like sit back down and lay down the rules and like what we expect. And things have been better this year.
Yeah.
So for me, that was the worst experience, especially when you're involved in things that have nothing to do with you. Because then it's got to a point where like if someone needs to take time off, they would have to talk to me. And I'm like, I don't care about knowing when. I just need to make sure someone is here. So you need to get along with your colleague to be able to have them cover your time if you need to go home to see your parents, or if you need to, So I really hate like mundane administrative things. Yeah. And I started getting involved. and I was like, no, we are all adults here. Like, you have to make a decision. And I was really mad at the one who quit anyway, because that also meant I would stop some of the support I was giving, which included like paying for his son's school fees. I was like, okay, I could be a good person, but I'm also a human being. Like, there are things like those that, because of, like, you guys couldn't look beyond your personality issues and just do the right thing. And now, you're going to lose out on some of these other benefits and stuff. And your children could suffer because of this. But at the end of the day, I was like, I'm not your air and your food and everything in your life. I just wish you all the best. And I hope that, things work out for you. Yeah. Okay. What's your crazy story? If any.
So the craziest experience that I've had so far is, so I had this nanny, the one that I mentioned that left because they put nanny cams. She was really good. She was really good with my child. So when she left, she texted me again, like maybe a few months later. She's like, "Oh, Mama, umepata, have you found someone else?" Then I'm like, "Why do you care?" She's like, "Because I'd like to come back." So I was having a really bad stint with nannies.
Okay.
Yours, like, I'm not getting a match. It's just not working anymore for me. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. So we brought her back, and she stayed with us for a good maybe 8 months. She stayed with us, and she was really good. But then January came this year, and she tells me, I need the money you're paying me is too little. My mom has said I need to increase the money that I'm sending to her to take care of the kids. So I'm like, okay. So I ask her, how much are you talking about? So she tells me a figure. I'm like, wait, okay. With how things are looking, I'm not able to get to that. I'm not able to get to increase your salary to that point. So I told her, let's do this. Let me look for a nanny, a new one. Give me 2 weeks, and then I can release you. Yeah, you go and look for, that job that will pay what you're looking for.
Yeah,
because I'm not able to pay you that. And we agreed. We actually agreed. Hey, tell me why a few hours later, the lady has come with her bags. She's packed her bags. All her freaking bags. And she's like, I'm going because it's time to pick my kids from school. I'm like, okay.
We talked about this.
Not even that. I'm like, there's no one else who can pick your kids. Like, this your story is not even making sense. Like, yeah, I have to go. I'm like, okay, fine. Like, what do I do at this point in time? Mind you, that time, I'm working. I was working at the time. I'm in a meeting that I was actually presenting in. There's those meetings that you're silent, you're just in the
background. This one you are active.
This one I'm active. She's packed her bags. I'm looking at her. I'm like, are you for real? I just dropped out from the call. I said connectivity issues.
Yeah.
I hung up. I took my child and I told that woman, just go. And I never want to see you again. Go. So that's how I was left high and dry.
That is
high. I was so upset. Oh my goodness. Like, how they say when you should always wish the best for someone. That one I was like, I do not wish the best for you.
So those are like, I wish you the very worst in life.
The very worst. Like, may your coffee not be sweet. Like,
warm enough.
I was so upset. I'm like, how could you? Like, we had an agreement.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just stick to it?
Yeah.
Like, Seriously.
Yeah. No, that is so crazy. Because for me, it's also what's the rush? What's this thing that couldn't wait? You know, like when we were talking, why didn't you mention this?
Yeah.
There's a funny meme I was listening to the other day on Instagram, where this guy said, you know, nannies will leave you when you least expect it. Like that day when you're about to go off for work, like out of town, is when they show up with their bags and they're like, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you I'm leaving today. You're like, you're leaving for where? You're leaving, yeah.
I'm the one who's leaving, not you.
I mean, yeah, people
and
like
you know,
this,
when she's at the door,
she
she turns back. She's like, Amma, how much can you give me? I was like,
yeah. First of all, no.
Go.
We are not negotiating. What?
The room for negotiation ended. I'm like, no. Do you think I'm going to be comfortable leaving you with my child after you've done this?
Exactly.
Leave.
Because now you think you've got me, like you're holding me hostage at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. In fact, I say, you go, your salary will be sent to you promptly at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So don't call me. In fact, this one who left, in December it was, when she told me she'd quit, the very next day I had a lineup of people to interview. And I brought in someone and I said, just hand over for the next 2 days. And in December I do like a bonus and stuff, but I paid her like a full salary. I paid her a bonus for the year. And I was like, she said, I can stay around for 2 weeks. I was like, no. Your spirit is not here. So within 2 days, I had someone else handover for 2 days. Handover is give her the menus, you know, show her where the clothes go, where everything is and stuff. And then that was a Monday, Wednesday, you don't have to come in.
Yeah.
And we just, it's
that handover is really exhausting.
It is.
It's so exhausting.
And for me, it's just there's the training,
the onboarding.
There is the instability with the kids, especially when they're not going to school. And let me tell you, my kids, it took them like 3 months to get over her. Because every time they would say, I miss so-and-so, I miss so-and-so, can she come? And then, because we normally do like a birthday party for them, can she come for my birthday? Where did she go? Why can't she come? You know, can we send her a message? Could you call her on the phone? Why can't you call her? And then on the side, she kept being like, so how are the kids? And one day I was like, this is not healthy for me. Stop. Don't contact me. You left. So just stay left.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone.
Just go.
But do you find that your kids, or your child at least, has gotten more familiar with the nanny than they are with you?
That happened when I was working. Whereby it was a very busy season for me, and I wasn't even getting time to wash. You know that washing that I was saying? Yeah. That is very sacred to me. I couldn't even do it. So the dad used to do it. I remember one day I walked in from work and he ran away from me and went and hid behind the nanny. Let me tell you, Lynette, that broke my heart, my spirit, my mind and soul. And I was like, no, it's not worth it. It was really hard. But right now we're good. Right now he knows his mom. Yeah, he knows the difference. Because now I spend a lot more time with him. Yeah. And he prefers to spend time with me. So I'm just like, this is a good balance. I'm happy with this. Yeah. I'm very content with this. Yeah. And you? I think for me, being a workaholic. Yeah, being a workaholic, I think for me, I made peace with it. A couple of weeks ago, after the nanny left, my daughter calls me to her room and I'm like, why am I being summoned? And she said, Mama, you need to say sorry to me. I said, sorry to you? What did I do? And she said, you told on me to so-and-so here being the nanny. I'm like, what do you mean I told on you? Like, yeah, you say. So the night before,
So there's this thing they both do. They wake up at 5 a.m. and then sneak into my room, coming in for cuddles. And so they did that. And then during the day, I'd mentioned to them like, hey, I really need to sleep. So it's not nice that you guys wake up and you come into my room. So when you wake up, if you can't go back to sleep, stay in your room, play there, go to your classroom, read a book. At that time, Papa is awake, play with him. Do not come to wake me up. I enjoy cuddles, but don't do it. So the nanny heard. So much later, when they were outside, she was like, yeah, it's not nice when you wake mama up. Mama needs rest. So when you wake up, so she basically repeated, like, my daughter was like, you told on us. So it's like, we are in trouble now for...
Wow.
And like, yeah, you told on us. You say that we disturb you in the morning, but we did not disturb you. We only came in for cuddles. And now I'm feeling terrible because I'm like, okay, so does this mean y'all are more afraid of your nanny than you are of me? And, and sometimes like they would, maybe they'd be playing and someone gets hurt and I hear them screaming and I run and you hug them and hold them. And in their little sobs, they're like, I want my nanny. And they're just looking out for her. And I'm like, well, okay. I mean, you're not bleeding, so that's fine. So it's okay. I mean, so I have made peace with it. I have, it's that same thing of, do they know who their mother is? And I have established that they do. And I'm like, okay, run along now. It's fine. It's okay. And I think for me, that's why it's really important to get someone who gets along with children. Yeah. Because the child is going to have a dependency on them. And if they don't get along, then it's going to be a lot. Yeah. So it's nerve-wracking, but it's also it's also something. And I'm wondering about something. Maybe if we can segue into the next topic about automating your household. Not for the nanny really, but automating. Because there's some people who are like, oh, I have a nanny, I don't need to buy a washing machine. Or I have a nanny, I don't need to buy, this thing that maybe might make their life easy. How have you handled that?
No, I'm going to make things easy for her. Because as I mentioned earlier in the episode, my son is a priority. So I'm going to make her life easy, her housekeeping life easy, so she can have time for my son. Because that's the most important thing. Okay. Yeah,
I think it's important. I say the only thing I've stopped doing is buying like expensive stuff, like expensive plates, expensive cups.
They break.
I spent a lot of money, and of course, most mothers were duped into buying iron casts, pots and stuff. And then you're like, why do they have a dent? Why is this broken? Why is this and the next thing? So that for me is the one thing I'm not buying expensive stuff. I'll buy nice things, but not with the hope that they'll be taken care of 100%. But then, I am the queen of automate. I would automate the curtains if I could. Like, make life as easy as possible so you have as much time for my kids as possible. So moms, I think we're coming to the end of the podcast.
Yes.
But before we
that was a beautiful conversation.
Yes, it would be interesting to hear from you if you have any nanny stories. How do you do it? What are the questions that you ask? What's the good, the bad, the ugly? And it would be interesting to share your ideas, your experiences. But before we close, Washuka,
maternal instincts are not automatic. It's not that the first time you see your baby being delivered, you'll be like, oh,
it's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, you're going to look at him like, why are you looking like an alien?
Who this?
Yes, it's not been my story, but it's something that I've actually had several times from my friends. And I'm like, you know what? You're actually not broken. It just takes some time to get used to the baby, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything to who you are as a mom.
Okay. Well, that's very true.
Yeah. Your unpopular opinion?
My unpopular opinion is that you can let other people do things for you, and as a mom, you must not be the witness to all the first times of milestones. It's fine for other people to see your baby walk fast, or it's, it's fine for other people to take care of things.
Yeah.
I know that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Like, you see moms sobbing, like, I wasn't there to see. You're going to see them walk for a very long time.
But the first one is so
I wasn't
crucial.
there to hear them say mama for the first time. There's going to be a time you say, okay, let's have a silent moment. That's enough mamas today. So yeah, personally, I'm like, as long as you're growing healthily, and you're hitting these milestones, like you can speak, you can walk, you can chew, you can hold, you can jump. Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't have to be the first witness.
No,
that's
me,
my
I want to be
opinion.
the first witness. The first food that I give has to come from me. I need to see his first steps. Like, that's actually one thing that I really prayed for. Like, I want to see his first steps, and I did. I was so happy.
Oh, that's lucky.
I was so happy.
I for me, I'm like, I want to hear that you walked. I'll see it when you're doing it perfectly. Great. That has been our episode this week. Thank you so much, Oshuka. It's been great hanging out.
Thank you, Lynette. That was nice.
See you in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
It's the politics of motherhood.